Before we actually hop into the games for today's episode, we do have a couple things to go over. The first one being Justin Turner is back from his IL stint, which means Avital Avellino is currently sitting in waivers. If he clears those waivers, he will be optioned to AAA Sacramento. Also, Elliot Ramos has gotten off to a flaming start here for these Giants through 82 ABs. He's got 5 home runs and a .958 OPS. While Javi Baez has gotten off to basically the complete opposite of that with his Giants career, 85 ABs and a .671 OPS, not what you like to see from the big-name free agent. And before we actually play the Cardinals, it is worth noting that Paulie G and Paulie D are both playing quite well. They are 1-2 in the runs leaders in the National League, while Paul Goldschmidt leads the NL in doubles and Paul DeJong leads the NL in home runs. The Giants travel out to the land of shitty pizza and Stanley Cup champions as the Cardinals play host to the Giants while they send out the veteran right-hander Michael Wacha, making his 5th start of the season for the Cardinals. He'll be opposed by the lefty Hyun Jin Ryu, making his 5th start of the season in a Giants uniform. So Giants lineup 1-2-9 as well as the Cardinals lineup. Take a look at that too, and then we'll start things off top half of the first inning. It's Jock Peterson getting all of one. He's going to send it to right field, but will it stay fair? They are going to have a get-together with the umps. They say he did not hit the home run. It was foul, so he does not get credit for that. So he comes back to the plate, and he would proceed to strike out on the dropped third strike. So nothing going for Peterson there. But then later on in the inning, it would bring up Javi Baez, who has gotten off to a slow start on the year. But here he hits a ball out to deep left center field. Bader goes back. He does not make the play on the leap, and Baez heading into third base. The throw gets past the cutoff man, still rolling to the third baseman. Baez runs straight through third base. Very risky move, but the throw to the plate was way offline. So Baez scores on a triple and then a throwing error. So it's a 1-0 Giants lead. Justin Turner in his first AB back from injury gets robbed on the sliding catch from last year's NL center field Gold Glove winner in Harrison Bader. Bottom of the third now, Tyler O'Neill's going to bloop one into left field for a single. He's on first base. I would then bring up Wacha, who lays down a bunt with 1 out. Fuentes tries to turn 2, ends up getting nobody. So first and second for the Cardinals, 1 out brings up Bader, who would pop up softly into right field for out number 2. And then after that, it would be Munoz, who pops up to the infield. Fuentes is under that one, and the Giants get out of the jam. Top half of the fourth now, Aaron Altair hits a ball into right field. O'Neill gives it a dive. He cannot make the play, though, so Aaron Altair goes into second base with a double. So he's in a scoring position for Gilberto Fuentes with 2 outs, draws a walk, so first and second now for Peter Mooney. Hits a ball hard, but right into right field where Tyler O'Neill is going to make the diving play this time. He's actually able to squeeze it on that one. We move on to the bottom half of the frame where Ryu shuts down the Pauls. First it's Goldschmidt going down on the drop third strike. After that's DeJong popping up to the catcher Bart behind the plate as he squeezes that one for out number 2. And we move on to the top of the fifth now where Bart comes to the plate and he hits a long home run. Absolutely hit the shit out of that into the left field upper deck. A solo shot for Joey Bart puts the Giants up 2-0 now, his 3rd dinger of the season. Colton Wong then comes on to pinch hit in the bottom of the 6th, and he would fall victim to the 92-mile-an-hour fastball up and on the black. That is significant because it is Ryu's 1,000th career strikeout. Later on in the inning with 2 outs, Munoz comes to the plate, hits the ball into left field. Probably should have been the inning-ending ground ball, but it gets past Turner for a single nonetheless. After that, Paul Goldschmidt reaches out on the end of the plate and smacks one into the right center field gap. Munoz is going to score all the way from first base as Goldschmidt has himself an RBI double. It is now a 2-1 ball game as the lead is cut in half. But then Ryu would get out of the inning as he strikes out Paul DeJong, keeps the game at 2-1, and they would keep that score heading into the 9th, where Reyes Moranta comes on. First batter up is DeJong, swinging through. It's not a sword, DeJong. Don't wave at it. And then for the second out, it would be Ozuna, also going down on the slider, so back-to-back strikeouts for Moranta, and then the slider again with 2 strikes to Kisner, and he's going to dribble one at the shortstop. Baez makes the charging play, and it's going to be a win for the San Francisco Giants here on the road over the Cardinals by a score of 2-1. Hyun-Jin Ryu gets player of the game honors. He went 7 innings strong, struck out 7, only gave up 1 earned run, 4 hits, and no walks on the day. Joey Bart had a solo shot into the upper deck for his only hit of the day, and Javier Baez had himself a triple and then scored on a throwing error. And those were the only 2 runs of the day for the Giants, but that's all they needed as they win this one 2-1 over the Cardinals. Ryan Buchter's brief time in a Giants uniform is going to come to an end as he has been pitching very poorly to start this season, and we are trying to win ball games here, so we cannot have players like Ryan Buchter in our bullpen costing us games. Through 11 innings this season, he gave up 18 hits, 15 runs, 5 home runs, and also walked 8 batters. He had a 12 ERA, as well as an 8.55 FIP, and a WAR already at negative .5. So Buchter was DFA'd and then promptly released. So he is going to be in free agency looking for another ball club for the rest of the season, while Brandon Finnegan has been called up from AAA Sacramento as another lefty in the bullpen. Giants spent this road trip Rocky Mountain way, couldn't get much higher, taking on the Rockies at Coors Field. Jeff Hoffman gets the start for the Rockies. This will be his 6th start of the season. Hasn't gotten off to the greatest start of the year. Has that in common with his opposing pitcher in Tyler Skaggs, making his 7th start for the Giants. Take a look at the Giants lineup 1-2-9 as well as the opposing Rockies one. So start things off, bottom half of the first inning. Garrett Hampson's going to go down swinging on the trailing away 2-seamer. And then Nolan Arenado goes down to the 12-6 curve, so Skaggs off to a hot start, strikes out 2 batters in the first, and then he would do the same thing in the second. There's Trevor Story whiffing through the fastball, and then Charlie Blackmon falling victim to the 12-6 curve. So 2 strikeouts in the first 2 innings separately, so 4 combined, and now move things on to the bottom half of the third. David Dahl is going to dink one out to right field for a base knock. He's on first base, then the pitcher Hoffman lays down a bunt. Skaggs takes the easy out at first base, a runner on second with 2 outs. Hampson then hits a ball over the head of Peterson at first base. That's going to get into the gap, but is cut off for a single only for Hampson, but the runner does come in to score, take a 1-0 lead for the Rockies. Top of the 4th now, Aaron Altair draws himself a walk. He's on first base, brings up Jock Peterson, who rips a ball into right center field, gets down for a single. Altair goes first to third on the hit, so it's runners on the corners with 1 out for Joey Bart. Hits a laser to left field, but it is going to be caught on a line. It's going to be deep enough to tag up Altair, though, as it's now a tie ball game. Shane Peterson then comes to the plate. Pitch goes away from Walters, allows Peterson with a D to move up to second base, and then Peterson with a T hits a ball high to deep right field. It's not going to get out of here. It is going to hit off the wall, though, so Peterson with a D scores. Peterson with a T then gets into third base with an RBI triple, and the Giants take a 2-1 lead. Brings up Justin Turner. Pitch gets away from Walters. Peterson with a T tries to score, but he's going to be gunned down by the catcher sliding over, and then the covering Hoffman applies the tag. So bottom half of the frame now as Trevor Story hits a ball to the bottom of the wall in right center field. He's got fleet feet, so he's on second base with a double. Then he goes and swipes third base, showing off those fleet feet. Catches Joey Bart slipping, and then a ball would get under the glove of Peterson at first base, drives in the run, and the Rockies tie this game here at 2 thanks to Matt Adams there. And now on to the bottom of the 5th, where Tyler Skaggs goes right back to work. Strikes out Hoffman for the first out, then strikes out Hampson, locks him up on the 12-6 curve, and then he would proceed to strike out the side by blowing a fastball right by Tommy Pham. 3 strikeouts in the inning. Tyler Skaggs has been pitching well all game long. Top of the 6th inning now. Gilberto Fuentes comes to the plate, hits the ball into the right center field gap. That's a get up against the wall. He's got some speed, so he's going to get himself into third base, slides to avoid the tag. A triple for Fuentes, and then Javier Baez hits the ball out to right center field. It's going to be caught. It's deep enough to have Fuentes tag up, and the Giants now up in this game 3-2 over the Rockies. Bottom half of the 6th now, Nolan Arenado says, nah, we're tying this one back up as he hits a long home run into the left field bleachers. A solo shot makes it a 3-3 ball game. Brandon Finnegan then comes on out of the pen Gets himself into a bit of a jam here with 1 out and the bases juiced, but he gets the ground ball he needs for a 3-6-3 inning-ending double play, keeping it at a tie ball game. Wade Davis then comes on for the Rockies. In the top half of the 8th, Peter Mooney comes on to pinch hit for the Giants. First pitch swinging, hits a line drive that Matt Adams is going to make a diving catch over at first base, and then with 2 outs, Gilberto Fuentes absolutely clobbers a ball into the right field seats. A long home run for Fuentes puts the Giants back on top 4-3. They would take that lead into the 9th, where Maranta comes on, trying to get out of it. Same with some defensive substitutions. Barreto at third base, Yamada at second, while Turner shifts over to first base. And with the first batter, Hampson, he goes down on the changeup swinging, so 1 down. Then Tommy Pham comes to the play, and man, oh man, another no-doubt home run for the Rockies to tie this one up. First it was Arenado, now it's Pham, as we got ourselves a tie game, and that's going to be at least extras, but Maranta is going to have to get out of it. He does that, though, when he strikes at Arenado, and then he strikes at Story with the slider and then the changeup. So it's a 4-4 game now, heading into extras. Raisel Iglesias came on in the 10th inning for the Giants, so 1 out. Batter up is Matt Adams, hits a ball to deep right center field off the very top of the wall. Lucky he didn't end the game right there. It's only going to be a double for Adams. Then with 2 outs, Tony Walters would bloop one into left field for a single. They do not test the arm of Jock Peterson in left field, so it's runners on the corners here for Socrates Brito. They try the squeeze play. It does not work. Backfires. It's still a 4-4 game now. Heading to the top of the 12th, where Yamada's at the plate, facing Scotta Berg with 2 outs. Hits a ball into left center field that gets up against the wall. It's an easy double for the speedy Yamada, so he's in scoring position as they then intentionally walk Justin Turner to get to the pitcher spot. So Matt Wieters, the last man on the bench, is forced to come on to pinch hit. Works the count 2-0, hits the ball to right center field pretty deep, but it's going to be into the glove of Tommy Pham as he makes the play. 4-4 still as the last man in the pen, Josh James, comes on. He has had a less than ideal season, and he continues to have a less than ideal season as Matt Adams delivers yet again for the Rockies. A long 3-run shot walks this one off. 7-4 is going to be the final score as Matt Adams hits the walk-off jack, and it was all the former Cardinals players that killed the Giants in this one. Matt Adams with the walk-off, he had a double, he had an RBI single as well in the game, while Tommy Pham was the one who sent it to extra innings with his game-tying solo shot in the bottom half of the 9th. Now, there is some vital information that you need to be aware of, and that is the fact that Juan Soto is absolutely tearing up the National League here to start the season off. He has a .906 slugging percentage, not an OPS, a slugging percentage, and an OPS of 1.399. He already has a 3.1 WAR. The guy has insane ratings. He is going to put up an absolutely bonkers season with the Nationals this season. And now that everyone is aware of that, we hop into a game where the Giants play host to the Nationals here at Oracle Park, while the Nats are going to be wearing their Throwbacks Expos jerseys. Max Scherzer on the hill, making his 8th start of the season, and he is opposed by the right-hander out of the University of Florida in Sean Anderson, having an okay season to start off his year, while Jock Peterson is highlighted for the Giants as well as the Nationals' former Giant Brandon Belt. Top half of the first inning, it's going to be a surprise drag bunt by Trey Turner, and it's going to work as he's on first base with a bunt single. He would then proceed to swipe second base with 1 out, get himself into scoring position with Juan Soto at the dish. He takes ball 4, so it's first and second for the Nats. Brings up Brandon Belt. He's going to hit a ball to deep right field, but it's not going to be deep enough as McCutcheon's there to put that one away. Throw into the cutoff man. Turner easily tags up, so runners on the corners. Brings up last year's National League batting title winner with 2 outs. Hits a ball on the outside half of the plate into right field for a base knock as the Nationals take a 1-0 lead here in the first inning. Bottom half of the second, Jock Peterson leading off the inning, connects on the first pitch he sees, and he hits it a long way. Over the fence, or over the brick wall, I should say, as Jock has himself a solo shot. It's a tie 1-1 ball game. Top half of the third now, Juan Soto shows why he's been tearing things up as he hits one off the brick wall for an easy double. So Soto's in scoring position with one out, brings up the former Giant Brendan Belt, and he's going to hit a ball in the right center field this time that is going to get down into the gap. There's another double. This one scores Soto as the Nats now have a 2-1 lead. We move things on to the bottom half of the frame. Elliot Ramos hits one up the middle for a base knock. Next batter up would be Andrew McCutchen. 1-2 count, fights one off into right field, so back-to-back singles for the Giants. So it's first and second, one out, brings up Javi Baez. Finally hits a ball hard, but it's going to be caught by Soto in left field. Ramos is going to tag up from second base, though, so runners on the corners with 2 outs. Brings up Jock Peterson, who works a long AB, and then hits a line drive in the left where Juan Soto is killing us with his glove. Makes the diving catch, nobody scores, still a 2-1 ball game. Top of the sixth now as Carter Kieboom is going to dribble one up the middle for the Nationals for a base knock. Then with 2 outs, it would be Max Scherzer of all people. Fights one off into right field for a bloop single. So first and second with 2 outs, brings up the top of the order, and Trey Turner hits a ball that just barely gets under the glove of Shane Peterson at first base, and the Nats extend their lead to 3-1 here. We move things on to the bottom of the seventh now, where Joey Bart, hitless on the day so far, but he continues his hot start to the season with a double here. That's going to bounce up over the wall for a ground rule double. So he's in scoring position. Justin Turner then hits a laser off the wall in left field. That is going to score Bart easily, and Turner has himself an RBI double. It's a 3-2 ball game now. 1-run lead for the Nats. Tony Watson would come on to replace Max Scherzer to try to protect that. He throws one pitch. Peter Mooney, the 5'6" hit machine with some lefty-on-lefty crime, as that's going to drive in Turner, and it's a tie ball game. So Mooney on first base, Yamada comes on to pinch hit. He is also going to jump on the first pitch, but he hits a ground ball over to shortstop Turner. 6-4-3, but they're not going to get the 3 part of it as Yamada beats it out in the back end. But then Elliot Ramos also jumps in the first pitch, and it goes well for him. That's going to roll slowly into that right center field gap, so Ramos with his fleet feet gets into third base, standing up, an RBI triple, puts the Giants up 4-3. Then in the 8th, Iglesias would work a scoreless 8th, strikes out the pinch hitter to end that inning, and then Murata works a 1-2-3 scoreless 9th as he strikes out Juan Soto, mano a mano. Your best stuff, my best stuff. Murata comes out on top as the Giants win this one here at home over the Nationals, who are sitting at first place in the NL East. A big win for the Giants. Jock Peterson's only hit was a solo shot, while Justin Turner was 2 for 3. Elliot Ramos 2 for 4. Joey Bart had the double and then scored thanks to the Turner double. Big bottom half of the 7th inning for the Giants was the factor in this one. And with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the San Francisco Giants franchise. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, I have indeed listened to the new Freddie Gibbs and Madlib song featuring Anderson .Paak, and let me tell you, it is a damn good song. I need Bandana now.